H-Files, case number 107442. Continuing the events on July 8th. Alright guys, so it's me, Mike the Zombie. You're gonna follow my report. And no, I'm not gonna write this thing anywhere near like how Vincent does. I'm not the professional over here. Anyways, we're going to continue on with what happened on July 8th from my perspective. And I hope you guys who read this, the bosses, don't get too mad at me. Alright? So, let's start. Timestamp. 12:05 a.m. July 8th. So Vince, he needed to go get a different kind of weapon in order to beat the imp. This thing was going to eat magic, so he needed to go get something physical. So he created a warp spell so he could warp back to the office and get a new weapon. But he was going to have to prep it, and it was going to take a couple of hours. So during that time, it was up to me to go find where this imp was and to keep him from trying to attack anyone else. So that's what I did. I decided to go out on the hunt again. As a zombie, especially, you know, a well-managed zombie as myself, I went on the hunt using my enhanced sense of smell, with my enhanced sense of strength. I was gonna be able to wrestle this thing hand-to-hand combat. Easy. No problem. Totally gonna do it. So I went on the hunt. I went and I looked around, and eventually I picked up the trail. I could smell that sulfur hanging in the air. So I kept going after this thing. And when I found where it was heading, I got very unhappy. There was a manhole that he opened. So I was going to have to go down into the sewers. Not excited about that. Nope, not at all. No. I have an enhanced sense of smell. I don't want to smell shit. And that's what I was going to have to do. The things I do to save people. So anywho, when I look at that, I decide I'm going to go down there. But I'm accosted by a man. I look at him. He looks at me. I'm going to call him Cuckoo Kachoo. I know that's not his actual name. It's just really hard to say his actual name. It's easier for me to say Cuckoo Kachoo. Cuckoo Kachoo was dressed in green armor. He had a long spear, and he had long flowing black hair. We looked at each other. He pointed the spear at me and asked me who I was. I said, I'm Mike the Zombie. I'm here to fight the imp. And he was a little shocked when he realized that his glamour wasn't working. You see, as an undead, glamours, or illusion magic, don't work on the undead. So, apparently he was supposed to look like he was in a business suit, but he was not in a business suit. He was just simply in his armor. He was ready to fight. His name, let me see if I can say this properly at least once. Ku Chahule. See, so much easier to say Cuckoo Kachoo. He was going after this thing because it apparently killed somebody who he came to visit. I guess it was targeting people who were magic, which makes sense. Magical beings are a dime a dozen at this point. They're all over the place. A lot of times people don't even realize it. Most people have at least some level of magical ability, even if it's a tiny little fragment. But this creature would easily become a greater demon if it was not stopped. At the rate it was eating, and the fact that it was already human-sized rather than being like a size of a cat, means that it probably has ate at least 5 or 6 people. maybe more. So, Cuckoo and I, we decide to team up and go down into the sewers. Timestamp 2 a.m. We had gone through a large amount of the sewers. I tried to block my nose. We were trying to find wherever this imp creature was, and now I'm very sad. We got into this room that was hidden down in the sewers, and it looks like this thing had got more people. There were several more bodies. And there was a girl chained. Why the imp didn't eat her, I don't understand. Cuckoo said something, but I don't understand exactly all the magic mumbo-jumbo. I only have a bare minimum knowledge. That's something that would have to be something that Vince would explain. So, we free the girl, and she tells us that she's the one who summoned it. She was given a book by a man in a yellow jacket. Again, yellow jacket. Something about that sticks out. I'm not sure what. But we decide we're going to get this girl back up to the surface. And it was at that point that the imp came back. I go to attack him, and I get flung back. It's already now taller than the average man, with the strength of a bear. Far more dangerous to deal with than originally expected. But Cuckoo, he seems to have been some sort of warrior or something, comes jumping in and stabs the creature in the side. It does some damage, but the creature pulls the spear out and then throws Cuckoo away. It starts running away, getting through there, going faster than we can get through. It manages to get out. So we look at this thing and we decide, well, we're going to have to deal with this with a little bit more firepower, and we're going to need to just try to keep it away from eating anybody. So now we're going to be playing a game of cat and mouse. Timestamp 5 a.m. So after chasing this thing through the rest of the sewers as it got out, it managed to get back up to the surface. We safely got the girl also to the surface and got her away. She explained to us that she didn't mean to have this thing going and killing people. It was supposed to be like a pet that she had summoned for herself. Figures that this probably 11-year-old girl didn't really understand what she was getting into. Summoning can be very tricky, as there are different classifications. You have your demons, which an imp belongs to, and those are the worst. Of course, if you summon a fae or some other creature or a wild spirit, they might be a little bit safer, but they all have some level of danger to them. But if you're summoning a demon, that's usually the worst of the worst. And if you don't know what you're doing, especially if you don't have the proper binding circle, something like that can go hog wild, just like it did. I don't think that she's gonna probably be in too much trouble, because she didn't know what she was getting into. Whoever this man in the yellow jacket is, that's who we gotta look for. So, next thing happens. We chase this thing into a supermarket, and we get into a fight there. The best thing I could do at the time was I grabbed a bottle of bleach and I threw it at its face, and it hit it. It seemed to have blinded it. It screamed, and Cuckoo tried to stab it again, but it knocked the entire aisle over on top of him. So I had to jump over and I ripped the aisle up and I threw it back at the imp. Of course, he had dodged out of the way. Now it seems like his vision came back. No way we're going to be hiding this one out from the public. big giant battle in the middle of a supermarket. Well, is what it is. I picked up a ham. It was heavy. Tried to club the imp. It broke out the side and ran away. So Cuckoo came chasing after it. He seemed to have superhuman strength and speed. Quite impressive. So he charged out the door, and I apologized to the clerk and gave him a card. And hopefully, because it was still early, not that many people saw what just happened, and I went chasing out the door too. Timestamp 7:30 a.m. So at this point, Vinny got back, and he brought the big gun. It was a specially made gun laden with runes that fired silver bullets. All we had to do was make sure that he didn't miss. And I explained to him about Cuckoo, and at that point he kept saying the proper name. He would not say Cuckoo because he was too dignified. But I, on the other hand, refused to say the other name because I thought it was too hard to say. I think I already said that in this report, but it doesn't matter. You're going to get it again. So we wanted to track this thing down one final time to try to put it out permanently. Especially now that Vinny got the big gun out. So we came charging in. I sniffed around. We found a giant warehouse. Looks like they had turned this thing from being a part of a factory into some sort of dance club. We got inside. Could smell the smell. This thing was feeding. Don't know what he was eating at the time, but when we did see it, thankfully it was just rats. It seems to have gained inhuman hunger, even worse than me. So I looked at this thing and I wanted to distract it. The best thing I could do was charge in and try to hold it steady so my partner could blast it with the big gun. So I ran up, got knocked away like it was nothing. This imp, he had now reached probably 7 feet. And he was starting to curl the horns, which was a bad sign. Normally they look like little nubs. When they get bigger, they begin to curl into full ram's horns. Not good, but we got to do what we got to do. So we came in one more time, trying to hold him. I grabbed him by the legs, kicked me off again. During this time, Cuckoo showed up again, and I figured, hey, the two of us might be able to distract him long enough so that way Vinny could get a good shot. So that's what we did. We attacked both sides, smashing him once, twice, 3 times, trying to stab him a few times. Eventually, the creature got worn out, and he was starting to limp. But it was not enough yet. So that's when Cuckoo took his breastplate off. And something weird happened. All the blood vessels in his chest and arms ruptured. His skin turned blood red. But when he did that, he hulked up. I mean, seriously, he looked like Red Hulk. He was huge. And he came over and he grabbed it, pinned it down to the ground. Then I came over, started punching it, wailing it. 1, 2, 3 in the head. Once it was stunned enough, Vinny got a good shot on it. And then Cuckoo, or I should call him Red Man, he stepped back. And Vinny took one good shot and blasted this thing. The creature immediately began to deflate. We saw it begin to melt down, and we knew that it was done. We had finished this creature off. However, Who was this mysterious man in the yellow jacket? What's going on?